I need a podium because I get nervous, and so you guys would see this, so I didn't want you to see that. I'm Michelle. I have been with 31 I'll be celebrating 3 years next month. So, yeah. And I keep forgetting, like when someone asks me how long I've been with 31, I forget how long it's been, so that's always a great thing. So, I am going to talk about Hostess Coaching today, and when I first started 31, it was really just for fun. I liked the bags. I know this story goes there a lot of times. And then I started thinking, I really want to make this a business for myself. So how do I do that? And so booking was an area that I had to look at, and Hostess Coaching, and then the party itself. And to me, that's kind of the 3 areas of 31 that really makes your business keep going and sustaining itself. So I'm just going to talk about a little scenario that some of you may have experienced before. So you have someone that's ready to host a party. You give your catalog, and you say, okay, great, I'm going to see you on September 15th. You check in with them maybe one more time before the party, just to make sure that you have the address and where you're going to be, and make sure you're still good with the time. And you gather your products. You've planned all these great games. You get to her house, and nobody shows. You're waiting. Oh, I know, it's fine. People are always late. No big deal. 20 minutes later, you're still waiting. So this was something that was happening to me all the time when I first started with 31. And I thought, what is going on? The hostess is frustrated because she's expecting to have all these great hostess rewards from this party that she's had with me. She's got food. Sometimes she spent more money on the food than she has on what she's getting back from me. And she is not going to host with me again. She didn't get anything out of that first party. So I had to really look at what I'm not doing so that both of us have more successful parties. She has a successful party. Obviously, she's going to talk to her friends about that, but all the free stuff that she's getting, and then her friends are going to host a party. That person that got, $90, or not $90, but what is the first level? $25 in credit, they don't really care to tell their friends about this great party that they didn't have. So I started focusing my hostess coaching first on just getting people at the party. So in your hand, in the packet that Tammy had for you, most of the stuff, the handouts are in there, so I'm not going to go over it in detail. But for me, what Hostess Coaching starts with is a checklist. And Joanne kind of talked about this. There is one on TOT, and I think Tammy put that in there. For you to be able to put your hostess name, their contact information. I've made one that's for myself, and you can always change this form to make it more that what works for you. The great thing about this, it has when you need to contact them. So I like to make sure I'm contacting my hostesses a few times before their party, so I can keep track of that on this form. So this would just be part of your packet for your hostess. And then the next thing that, and then in the packet that I'm sending out, so once I have filled out this information, gotten her address, I'm going to send her a personalized packet. And this is what I use for every different type of party. I have a hostess letter for a home party, a hostess letter for a Facebook party, and a hostess letter for a catalog party. I know there are some people that just keep hostess packets on them, and so you wouldn't necessarily have a personalized letter, but there is on TOT a form that goes on the front of paperwork that you're going to put in that. So it's kind of the same thing. Mine's just in great detail, and I'm not going to go over this. It's broken up into 6 categories, and you can, on your own time, just kind of read that. But this is what I send to my hostesses, and it tells them what's in it, what my expectations are from them. Like, obviously if you want to have a successful party, here are the things that we're going to do together to make that happen. I make sure to talk about inviting enough people, make a list of what they are going to want to get. That's huge. If you have a hostess that's not really thinking about what items they want before their party, they're not necessarily excited about getting enough people there to have that party. So if a hostess is writing down and they can look at the catalog and say, oh, I need to get $100 worth of credit so that I can get all these things for free, they're going to work a little harder to make sure they get outside orders, to make sure they get enough customers there, so that will happen for them. So it benefits them, and of course it also benefits you. Let's see, so once I've sent that out, I make sure I contact them a specific number of times. So my first contact is after I've sent the packet out to them. So I just want to make sure that they've received it. Sometimes I'm handing it to them, and so then I don't have to worry about it so much, but I want to make sure they've actually taken the time to look through the packet and ask them if they have any questions. I'm a texter. I do not really enjoy being on the phone, and for most of my customers that works, but you have to figure out what works best for them. And like they said, when you're highlighting what's the best way to contact them, that's when you'll do this. So my first contact is made then, and I just want to make sure that she understands everything, let her know that I've set up her online shopping link, and give her that information. My second contact is made about a week before the party. And so I asked my hostess at that time how many guests she's expecting. And I usually say, I want to make sure I have enough resources for you. But it gives me an idea of where she's at, if she's even kind of been asking enough people to come to this party. If she's only at 2, we'll talk about how we can get that guest list up. And also remind her about taking outside orders. As I'm sure most of you know, that is a huge thing for our parties. The more outside orders you get before the party even begins, it sets her up for success, and it sets you up for success. And then my final contact with her before the party is made just a couple of days before, trying to get a final head count. If there's anything specific that she would like me to make sure I talk about at her party, or anything that her guests have asked about already that they might want me to show them that night. And again, at all these times, I'm just wanting her to know that I'm in this with her. It's all about her. It's her party. How are we going to make this successful for you? And then the final thing that I've noticed lately, where my party numbers have increased a lot, is making sure the Hostess Coaching happens after the party. Even when I first started this, that was great, and I would have a great party there, but I would kind of just, say when you want to close your party, in a couple of days, okay, and that would kind of be the end of it. My Hostess Coaching after the party has made a huge difference for the hostess and for myself, because I'm encouraging her to hit the next level. So generally speaking, at my party, I will do her totals and figure out where she's at. And so I keep looking at this side of the room and not even looking up here, but I will see where her totals are at and let her know where she stands. And I'm always telling her, oh, you're only this close or this far off from the next level, whatever it is. I mean, it may be $100 off, but honestly, that's 2 items out of the catalog, so you could get somebody there. And that gets them trying to contact people that they maybe didn't think about before, where if you don't even talk about it, they're done. Whatever happened at their party, that's where their totals are, and that's where they're going to leave it. Where if you say, if you just get one more order, you're going to get all your hostess things for free, heck yeah, she's going to go out there and try to get some more orders. So that's kind of it. I know, I'll talk about these forms just really fast because I didn't, but these are just some of the things that I put in my hostess, and all this stuff is on top, and some of them I've just changed for myself, but this is the hostess rewards, and it talks about what they are. It has a list for them who to invite so that their guest numbers are high, party tips at the bottom. And then I use this in mine. It's talking to them about how to have a successful party, and it's in the letter as well, but sometimes the visual just helps people, and people aren't always going to want to read a full letter, but if they can see this, they know what it's going to take for them to have a successful party. So that's kind of it. Questions? Yes.
So for all these forms that you kind of do yourself, is there any way for us to get them?
Yes. I almost think that they are on Tammy's Treasures already, but I will make sure. Yeah. And actually that one, the 1200, I think it hasn't been updated, so I know the one that's on there is probably old. It's not for the new catalog. Yeah, so I'll make sure they're back. Yes.
Can you go into a little more detail about after the party, what you do in regards to wrapping up that hostess and making sure that she knows that she's collected outside orders and she's a little bit closer, but getting her just that next push?
Yeah, so for example, I just did a Facebook party, and once the totals were in, I let my hostess know where she stood. And then generally speaking, there's always, I have a couple of friends that said they were gonna order, let's close in a couple days. So that's fine, this is just where you are right now. So 2 days later, I contacted her, and she was probably $100 away from a $600 party, I believe. So I told her that. I just said in a text, hey, just checking in, you know, we talked about closing your party pretty soon, I wanna let you know that you're only $100 away from the $600 party. So her response to me was, oh, okay, I'll get that. And she did. So she got her $600 party, because I also said, you get to the $600 party and you get that free, whatever the hostess, like the hostess special is right now, the purse bundle or whatever. And I said that. If you just get to not just you get to 600, but what you're gonna get for getting to 600. You're gonna get that Grace hostess bundle for free, that's what, $145 or something? So she said, oh, okay, I got that. And I think she would have probably put in the order for herself at that point, because she probably had extra stuff that she wanted to order anyway, but she didn't. She actually got an outside order to cover that. So, and sometimes they get so excited by the fact that it was so easy for them to make it to that next level, they'll say, give me a couple more days and I'll try and get a couple more orders, or then send out the link. I always make sure that I send that to my hostesses so they can just text that to their friends. Hey, this party's closing, if there's something you still wanna get, they can go shop, like, and of course, a Facebook party, I don't see them. So most of that's just done online anyway. So they're more likely to just send that link to them and be done with it. Yes.
And then kind of with that, if you leave a party, you can just say, just want to let you know, these are the individuals that placed an order. You don't tell them how much or what, but these are people that placed an order, so you know who you invited and who didn't come or who left and didn't place an order, so you can follow up with them.
Right, and along those
And
lines,
when they're gonna close the party.
there's
So-
usually somebody at the party that will say to me, can I take a catalog, I'll order in a couple days. I will let my hostess know, I will try to get the person's name, I'm terrible with names. So I will say, the young person that was sitting, you know, over here on the couch, because I'm terrible with names. But so that they will then also follow up with that person. So it's, because I don't have their contact information, but oh, she said she wanted to order, let me check with her. So again, just boosting her hostess rewards and then your sales. Anything else?
Does anyone have a big takeaway about Hostess Coaching? Something that even maybe you knew and you just got reminded about, or something that you never really thought of that you learned today that you're going to implement?
Linda, I'm going to push outside orders because I don't do that. And I think that letting them know the total, that's my takeaway from you, Michelle.
Great. Yeah, and I talk about outside orders in that letter too, to make sure that they share that. Because a lot of times people think they can't have, people that are out of town can't order, but they can.
And send it in the link.
Yeah.
I really like the after party coaching.
Thank you.
I like that idea.
It was a, as we like to say, a game changer for me. I mean, it really, really was, because that $100 makes a big difference on your party. Yeah, thank you.
For me, I hosted a party, obviously, before I became a consultant, and my person was on the East Coast, so a lot of it was on me, but I was excited about it, and she made it easy for me. She just said, you know, you can take the order, send me their order, send me their contact info, and I'll take care of it all for you.
Yeah. And I just, because a lot of times that's the thing too, like when you do a Facebook party or a catalog party, the host feels like it's too much work for them. And sometimes our calculation things get really weird. I try, if it's like a catalog party, to do a sample form with a special in there, so what it looks like, how you would fill the form out for them. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, and always say, don't feel like you have to answer questions, because that happens a lot, especially with catalog parties and Facebook parties. Their friends are texting them, I like this on da-da-da page, give them my number and I will answer the questions. Yeah, take as much away from your hostess, because you don't want her to be working for her party. Yeah.
Anything else?
I have something. I've had a couple hostesses that when I got to their party and had their pack, it's like they didn't even look at it. Is there something you do
Well,
to
that's
make them?
why I try, once I've given it to them, I do that contact, hey, did you get your packet, have you looked at it? To remind them to look at it.
Right.
And I also started sending mine in pink envelopes, because when I was using manila envelopes, well, it's just part of the mail. They're not necessarily gonna wanna open that right away. A pink envelope, I wanna know what's inside of that. Also, like that page that says a 12 and up, put that on the front, because it's got a pretty picture of stuff that they can get for free versus this letter, the first thing that they see when they open it. If the first thing they're seeing is some products that they might want, that's gonna be, and again, I mean, I'm a reader of everything. Like, I'm that person that when I got my 31 guide, I read it all, but not, lots of people aren't like that. I know you're not, but I'm just Tammy is that person, I know she's a good person, right? But, so if, you know, if I did get a letter like this from somebody like Chevette, I may not read it. But if that, you know, this flyer that says, this is all you have to do have a 1200 party, and it has a, you know, it's pretty, and it's got some, I'm likely to read this, same information. So, you know, you're just getting it out there to them in whatever way they would read it. I personally would read every licking paper in there, but, you know, not everybody's like that.
Yes, you can also, when you follow up, you can also ask them, did you happen to see that on the
Right.
fourth page?
Right.
What did
So
you
they are
do
looking
about
at it,
that?
yes.
Like, oh, I hadn't looked at it, well, why didn't you take a moment?
Right. And you're gonna still sometimes have hostesses that never, I mean, I've been and they gave me the whole thing back. Like, I'm sure you want this catalogs must be expensive, and so they give me my whole hostess packet back, but, you know, you've done everything you could from your standpoint, so. All right, thanks, ladies.